Hey, hello there once again. This is the second part of Best Tier 4 Tier Tanks Tier 8. If you are here thanks to watching the previous part, you loyal. Thank you. If you are a new one over here, you can watch the previous part on my channel. You can find it rather easily, really. It's the previous video. But now to this video. The third tank is gonna be the Object 416 and holy fucking shit. Why is it so low? This thing is super broken yet still. Look at this. How? What the fuck are you guys doing in the play count? What the hell happened? I remember this tank being considered one of the most flat out broken tier 8s. Let's calm down a bit and how the actual fuck. Alright, so this tank has the highest medium tank DPM at a tier 8. That's even comparable to some of the TD's DPMs, and that's already something to say. This DPM is obtained through having 320 alpha damage, which is highly above the average for mediums, if you didn't know, and a reload speed that's still about the same as the R mediums around this tier. Surprisingly enough, this tank has only 0.35 gun dispersion and a pretty damn good accuracy overall, which is quite a feat as well, especially considering the fact that it's a Russian medium. However, this tank has two major disabilities, both which are caused by a bad back. This tank is like an old freaking granny if it comes to fighting on anything but a flat ground. 3 degrees of gun depression, which are quite commonly considered as nothing, and a turret that's not fully traversable? Man, that ain't good for a medium, especially not for a tier 8 medium, if you know what I mean, Jingles.
Do something, cat.
That is literally me, especially during summer holidays. Either way, the second good thing about this tank is its armor, which is pretty damn good indeed. Just look at this, so green. We can start turning back to normal, healthily eating people that eat what they are biologically intended to. Just kidding, the armor is actually pretty easy to angle, especially in a town where you might side scrape and use your rear mounted turret to its fullest potential. However, a rear mounted turret isn't somehow amazing in a field fight because you can really depress your gun very well. Well, that's where one our strength of this tank shows up. It's amazing camo. This tank is one of the stealthiest tanks in the entire game and without and doubts the stealthiest high tier medium in the entire game. So even though you may not have the gun depression to work ridge lines all that well, you may just sit in a bush and spot for your team. So grab a tea and off to camping we go! Well, vodka would be a bit more appropriate in this situation. Last, let's mobility is about the average. Lada Riva engine, most likely powered by vodka, with tracks made of stellium for less friction. Apart from soft terrain. Alright, that's enough of that. They really do not want you to be a good off-roader, despite the engine literally telling otherwise. But now, before I'll go to the top 2 spots, let me show you one extra special tank, which is not really all that extra or special at all, because it is the IS-3. And I've just been terribly fooled by the VB because look at this. This tank is one of the most broken free-to-play tanks in the entire freaking game, and people simply can't do well with it. Like, how do you manage to fuck that up? Tier 8 clan wars are swarming with IS-3s, IS-3As and defenders, nothing else but that, so honestly, explain that. But yeah, this thing has broken armor, which is really tough to penetrate frontally for about 50% of the opponents, and plus that you get this tiny defy all logic plate at the side which auto ricochets anything. You get as well a mobility and a camo of a medium as a heavy, and as well the fact that this tank is a heavy gives you a 390 alpha damage gun with 225 penetration. OP? Yep, it definitely is. But now to the number 2, which is gonna be the ML. My uncle's named ML. Either way, once this tank was released, I instantly knew that it's gonna be OP as all heck, and yeah, it freaking is. People just somehow tend to ignore it, like really, this motherfucker's here as well. This reminds me of something. Perfect. But now back to the ML. First thing about the ML that could be considered good is obviously its gun. is a 4-shot autoloader, which is both a curse and a blessing. Just as every other autoloader after all. Sometimes you might get a perfect clip, but sometimes you might fire once, then decide to go for a reload just as the enemy engages onto you and you are dead within seconds without, well, being capable of fighting back. However, despite being an autoloader, you still retain that regular heavy tank 320 alpha damage, so yeah, you can still one-clip your opponents. Well, as long as you pull off at least 4 subsequent average rolls and the enemy is anything else but a heavy. Or more precisely anything else but the thing you're actually going to fight. Yeah, it as well doesn't have somehow good accuracy, so you won't snipe medium tanks from your heavy tank flank. You seriously are stuck to fighting heavies all day long. But bruh, this gun ain't all this. I wanted to make up some ridiculous nickname, but I think that ML is humiliating enough. Either way, this tank is quite mobile indeed, at least for a heavy. 13 horsepower, alright, no, it isn't. It has rather mediocre mobility rather than high mobility, but it is at least tiny in comparison to the other heavies. This tank could be hardly considered a medium by its size, and by no means a freaking heavy. It surely is one hell of an annoying bugger, ain't it? But size doesn't mean everything. That's what every guy with Justin Bieber sized dong tells themselves. Now for real, despite its pretty tiny size, it has a ton of armor, especially turret armor, but look at this. Notice the gun location? It's so far up, Rick would be jealous. But it mainly means that you can go hull down or work those ridge lines super easily, and your 12 degrees of gun depression will only help you with that. But this tank's armor is super thick from the base, and if you add the basic angling this tank gets, you get something impenetrable for a tier 8 tank. However, with the addition of the angling provided by aiming downwards, tier 10s will struggle to penetrate it. And the hull armor? Not all too bad. Well, as long as you aim it directly towards the enemy, you will have a frontal plate that's probably as thick as the IS-3's one. But seriously, you can't side scrape because the armor on the side is literally like a freaking paper. But now to the number 1 tank, the tank that you most likely all expected to appear on this spot, the Caravan. Just kidding, it's the Defender. Really, is it any wonder that this tank made to be the number fucking 1? Just look at the armor. Lower plate is usually a weak spot on every single tank, but on this tank, yes. No, it fucking isn't. And at the same time, it could be considered as a weak spot. That's why there was that. Yes. Hope you understood that. On one hand, the lower plate is the only place where we got actually any chance of penetrating it, so it technically is a weak spot, because the rest of the armor is impenetrable. On the other hand, it still has about 220mm of armor, so it is pretty tough to penetrate. My schnitzel, however, tells me that there is a way of countering that. Yes, the swift and flick. Seriously, 90% of the tanks that will ever face this beast will have to spam gold to even kill it. Can it even get any worse? Of course it can, because this thing is not a tank gun. It is a goddamn battleship cannon that deals 440 alpha damage. Thankfully, it at least has some downside. The accuracy that won't fucking matter in close quarter combat. So the best way of countering it is simply by running away and hoping that the wargaming will nerf it before it will catch and rape the shit out of you. Seriously, most of the heavily armored tanks that still got somehow overpowered gun can be quite easily countered by the fact that you can simply drive around it, but this tank, no, it cannot be simply countered by like that. Why? Its mobility is the edge between a heavy and a fucking medium, that's why. Alright, so let me sort somehow the things that I've just said. This tank is completely overpowered in every single possible way. Damage, armor, and mobility. And the only possible way of it ever being countered by anything at all is by literally begging Wargaming to nerf it. Actually, this thing is so freaking OP that people aren't even playing it. They just simply got bored of it. How do I know this? Well, if a tank is OP, it will become popular, obviously. Just look at the IS-3 or the Scorpion. But if a tank is so OP that it is unfair to play against, it becomes popular, but same as when you start cheating in some long-lasting grinding game, it becomes boring to play after a while. So the Defender went from previously rivaling the Scorpion for the number 1 most played tank, down to like 81st most played tank? People literally got bored of it being so OP. The only people still playing this gold mode of a tank are people that either have only one premium tank, that being the Defender, or people that simply want to watch the world burn. Whoa, this turned from a fun video to a salt mine really freaking quickly. But now to a couple of honorable mentions. First one being the Berserk. While no doubt being a really powerful tank, it was outdone in my charts by practically every single other tank you have seen up till now, surprisingly including the Oh-Ho. This tank has a deadly TD gun with a decent camo, both of which are put into even better use once you realize that it has a turret as well. So you know you don't need to cancel your binos and camo net if you wanna turn around and kill that opponent that is trying to run away. However, this thing has two other things which made it fall down in my list. The mobility and the armor, which are absolutely horrific. It moves like a heavy and the armor is absolute paper. The second honorable mention is the Charioteer for roughly the same reasons as the Berserk. However, the Charioteer, unlike the Berserk, has a plenty of mobility. To make it somehow balanced, obviously, it loses a lot of camo. And the last one is the ISU-152, which wasn't included only because the ranking was done before the 9.20, and I wasn't exactly sure about whether or not the tank is still gonna be overpowered. You know, I can really see into the goddamn future. It isn't bright though, at least not for my intestines, because I just ate like a half of a kilo of freaking pistachios. Hey, don't look at me like that, they are fucking addicting. Anyways, this is gonna be the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed, and mainly I hope that you didn't mind the fact that this video was released after 2 weeks, despite the fact that I said it's gonna be released after only 1 week. The reason for that is rather simple. My OBS stopped working, and for that I had to start using the OBS Studio, which ended up with me sounding kinda like this. But now to the number one thing, the thing that you most like. Afterwards, when I finally had a chance to record like the second half of the text that I've had prepared for this video, it kinda ended up with, you know, the anchor lock on my braces falling out. This meant that I was panicking for like 2 days straight because I couldn't eat, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do shit like this. And if I honestly tried to talk like I'm talking right now, it would simply fall out and I wouldn't be capable of doing anything about it. So yeah, I'm actually recording this video on Monday. I'm not even kidding this. Right now this very part is recorded on Monday, which means that I get like 2 days to kinda edit out like 6 minutes, not 6 minutes, to edit out like 9 minutes of the video. So seriously, wish me luck, man. Well, you don't need to wish me luck because you already see the video. Anyways, hope you enjoyed and I hope that I'll see you next time. Bye!